We are the DFPN. Always question the answers.
No Gimmicks Podcast, and we bring it to you. Every time we turn live, and you know it's the truth. Every after show, moving down, this the time we move around. No Gimmicks Podcast is going down. Every night, every time in the ring. This is the time for the no gimmicks, no we doing our thing. What's your state of mind, state divine? Moving down a statement when we take the line. This is exactly wrestling the state design. When you see Stone Cold like me, with the stunner in the world, exactly man what we bring. Every night we move like Brock Lesnar, the F5, no gimmicks. We take you to your limit, what's the feeling? When we live in the air, you know we on, it's the time. Guarantee we move, you know how we respond. The state is mine, the state design when we feel it. Moving down, what's the healing? No gimmicks is the feeling.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN. You know what it is. It's Thursday, and that means we're going to be talking some MPX. Locking Horns coming up this weekend following what we said last week was going to be a banger of a card. It absolutely lived up to the hype.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. That was a phenomenal card last weekend. Lights out. Great card. Also, guest for tonight, he will be stopping through. Mr. Demo Diamond, the MPX champion, is gonna be stopping through. So we got a good show tonight. As always, the choice, Matt Andrews. Welcome back, sir. How you been?
I've been fantastic. I think it's interesting we picked a week for Demo to come on when he doesn't have an opponent this weekend.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Doesn't mean he's really off, because he's gonna have to prep himself for whatever happens.
The champ always works.
Exactly.
Regardless of whether he's in a match or not, I know that the champ always works. So the champ should always work. Should always work.
Yes.
And coming off of a match against Danny O'Ryan, which was, as predicted, off the charts. Just phenomenal. And what a way to end it, too. That was a fantastic little move. That was a fantastic little move that he pulled out to put him in a coffin. So we're, again, I don't agree with his tactics a lot of the time, but there is no doubt that the man has a lot of pride in putting that championship on the line and defending it.
Yes. Well said, because I looked at the end of that match and you didn't know where it was going. And as always, he pulls it off, man. Every single time. It looks like his back is against the wall. He pulls it off every single time. So good job to Demo. When he gets on, we'll talk to him about that and then what his thoughts are. But good show going on. We got Locking Horns. We'll break that card down. What I did want to start off though, this was a week that we kind of know is coming now in WWE. They tend to do these things yearly with the releases, right? They do WrestleMania. WrestleMania is a big card. And then right before they do their quarterly reports, you see a cut come. It's like clockwork by now. So
pretty much, it honestly came a little bit later than I thought. It
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It normally happens like right after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of held off a little bit this year. But you know it's coming. You know somebody that you've been invested in. Chances are, if you haven't seen them in a while, they're probably going to be gone. That was kind of the case. The one head scratcher that I had was Cora Jade.
I thought Cora Jade was an interesting choice too.
Yeah. She had been on TV. She had been in the eye, right? She hadn't been anywhere, but it's kind of surprising to see them be released. But overall, man, we were talking a little bit before the show. Overall, where do you see these guys ending up? What in your expertise could you offer them as they get released and try to navigate this?
Oh boy, you're putting a lot on me expertise about this kind of situation. You threw out Cora Jade as kind of being your head scratcher. My head scratcher was Dakota Kai.
Yes,
especially with Io Sky being the champion now, you've got several built-in stories that are right there. And with Kairi Sane on the verge of coming back, I think that was a potential for a lot of different storylines that could have been thrown in there. And Io Sky still has herself introduced during the introductions as representing Damage Control.
Right.
And now it's just, I mean, it's Kyrie, and who knows when Asuka's coming back. Asuka obviously dealing with completely different circumstances and issues there. But yeah, I was really perplexed by Dakota Kai, because that's a good worker. That's somebody who was fighting for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, right? So again, work rate was there. It kind of goes to show you, I guess, that wrestling skill isn't everything, right? There's got to be the actual draw, the X factor in there.
Right.
It's different now. Obviously, it's no fun to see anybody lose their jobs. It's no fun to see anybody go through these releases or anything like that. But it's a great time for independent wrestling.
It is.
Whether that's your local indies like MPX or DFW All Pro or Hot Pro Wrestling or whatever, or the fact that there's WWE ID identified places now. There's nothing prohibiting anybody that just got released after whatever non-compete clause they have to be able to go to any of these independent places and make their money there.
Right.
And all of these names that got released, short of, I want to say, Danny Parker, who already announced her full-on retirement from wrestling, and Jakara Jackson, I don't think. But all of the rest of them kind of were already established in independent scenes. Cora Jade being Elena Black, she's got a whole hardcore history to go with it. Yep. Gigi Dolan, of course, Priscilla Kelly on the indies, and Dakota Kai, again, Evie, right? So Team Kick. I think there's no shortage of places where these guys can go and make their money. Is it a little bit harder? Sure, but on the other end of that, they get to kind of keep all their money, right? They don't have to go through the big dog that is WWE. But it's not just the independents. We just saw Indy Hartwell sign with TNA. Yep. And TNA is not the powerhouse that it was when it first started. I mean, AEW has kind of gone into that slot now, but TNA is still a pretty damn good place to go. Absolutely. ROH is still a pretty damn good place to go. You have Major League Wrestling. You have Maple Leaf Wrestling up in Canada. There's so many places and so many opportunities that these guys are going to end up landing on their feet one way or another. They'll make it just due to their name and the fact that they were in WWE. I do feel bad for them. Obviously, this is a little bit more uncertain than their WWE schedule was. There's no downside guarantee, but they're going to be able to find work. They're going to be able to continue to do what they love, and they're still going to be able to put on some bangers. And in the process, they'll be able to help elevate other people too.
Absolutely, man. And you had a good point there. It's the landscape now is way more. It's way more. You have way more spots to land. And what I've seen is, especially today. So Shotzi was one of those people. She didn't get released, but her contract, she got notified that they weren't going to renew her contract. Right. But she wasn't sad about it. And that's what I'm starting to see across these releases. Like, yeah, working with WWE was their dream, but they have places. It's part of a process now to where you know you can come back eventually. And you have examples like Matt Cardona, who got released from WWE and now he's killing it on the indies, right? Mm-hmm. So it's less paranoia around these releases now. To where they feel like, all right, no big deal. I just work, I grind, and eventually if I get this build up, I can come back. You're also seeing it on the AEW side too. Some of these guys get releases. I don't know if you've been following Fuego del Sol.
Well, yeah.
His transformation, phenomenal. It's been phenomenal what he's been doing with GCW and how he's transformed himself and essentially killing off the Fuego gimmick and becoming KJ Orso now. So you're starting to see this thing around the industry to where if you get released, it's really about building yourself back up, making yourself more marketable in the sense of, all right, I have all these other places I can go versus there's just one show in town, and if I get released, I'm gonna have to work 10 times as harder to get back there. It's not like that now. It's like, let me slow build, find out what I want myself to be, and build up to what I know my potential is. And I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, even if the goal eventually for these people is to get back to WWE, you can look at Cody Rhodes, you can look at Drew McIntyre just as a blueprint for what to do. They went out, they busted their ass on the indies. It was not easy for them, but they went around all these places, got themselves known again, right? Built up their reputation, and then they got noticed again by the WWE, and that was even under Vince McMahon's era, right?
Yes.
And with Triple H being as much of a opportunity giver, right, as he is, and somebody who has his pulse, who knows the indies a lot better than Vince ever did, it's just a different way to get to the top of where you be, right?
Right.
I did want to touch again on Fuego. I'm sorry, KJ Orso. I think that's a turn that needs to be studied by all these people. This isn't like, so you'll see Cora Jade go back to Elena Black. You'll see Shotzi go back to Shotzi Blackheart. You'll see Gigi Dolan go back to Priscilla Kelly. Fuego got released and kept the Fuego name for a while. And then went through this tremendous mask match and lost the mask.
I was there. I saw that match in person.
Right. And the social media thing that followed after all that, he had everybody believing that was it.
That was it. Yep.
Everybody, which made sense. He dropped the mask. It was a good time. He'd been in it a while. Like, if that had been legit, nobody would have batted an eye. Would have made total sense.
What's funny about that is I saw him the next day.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was like defeated. He carried that. He carried the weight of that. He looked really defeated. And I was like, dang, this actually may be it. So when he came back and he turned on Sam Stackhouse, I was like, oh, this is genius.
This is
genius.
It was so great watching the footage again and everything just leading up to having the taser and the placement and how it was filmed too, because you thought that he was going not for Sam, and then just perspective wise, you saw that he went to Sam. It was just very, very well executed.
Very well done.
And I'm really glad that it got the attention that it did, where everybody was like, whoa, you got us.
Yeah, very much. So that what he's been able to do with GCW has been phenomenal. And him getting the wrestling world talking the way he did with that turn, I'm thinking it's going to lead to some big things.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you don't have to be in WWE to have the big moments.
Right.
So again, there's hope. Yes, it is absolutely sad that people lost their jobs and lost their guaranteed jobs. But in this kind of business where you can literally go anywhere and make that kind of money, it'll be okay. It really will.
Absolutely. So yeah, man, I did want to touch on that. That was kind of the big news of the week.
Sure.
The releases. Again, these things are coming. Which I'm really surprised AEW is now doing that too. Speaking of that, there's two guys there that got released. They asked for their release and they were granted it. And that's Vincent and Dutch from The Righteous.
Don't hate me for not following the AEW product. But what I will say from what I do know about AEW is if you're going to be a big player and a big competitor to WWE, you almost kind of have to do kind of the same thing. And AEW is running into the same problem where they have only so much TV time, no matter how many shows they have. There's only so much TV time and they have too many people on the roster. Now, what's going to be curious about these guys that you just mentioned, I don't know who they are.
Right. And that's part of the problem because they're awesome. So you didn't see a lot of them, but their characters were amazing because they have like this Bray Wyatt feel to them, like the Wyatt family feel to them. And the way they carried themselves, the crowd loved them just based off the character. So them getting released was kind of a shock to AEW fans, but if you look at what Karrion Kross is doing right now and the work he's putting in, and then those guys getting released, there's a lot of talk of those guys coming into WWE and pairing with Karrion Kross. And if that happens, it's going to be money.
Okay, so Kelvin, man, my problem is if you go from a point where not a whole lot of the mainstream people know you, and then you go to a place where a lot of people are expected to know you mainstream, like what happens if they debut and it's a complete dud?
That is true.
When Karrion Kross is already, I mean, he's getting a lot more of a reaction now, obviously, but it's more for his promo work.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like, Karrion already doesn't have a great, like, in-house pop, and I'm gonna get heat for saying this, I know, but like when he comes out, it's not like the pop that somebody like a Drew got when he came back, or somebody like a Cody got when he came back, or whatever. And obviously different circumstances, but like, you know, when Karrion came back, everyone was like, oh, there's the guy that wore the goofy gladiator helmet, or you know, it the magic wasn't there. Now if they end up doing something phenomenal with it, then great, more power to them, and I'm glad that they were able to, you know, land on their feet and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I do like what you said there though, because he is in that position. I do think with what he's been doing with the documentary and then that viral thing he did with the interview, that's kind of pushed him in public eye. But it also speaks to the problem to where you have so many people on the roster, not everybody's going to get a lot of time. And Karrion Kross is one of those guys that you don't see a lot. So if you don't see him, it's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind thing. So I kind of agree with you there. If you bring in two guys that the public doesn't really know, because WWE audience is really the public audience, right? So you don't really know them. You don't know how well that's going to be. I do think there's enough there from fans of WWE that it may garner a little bit of reaction.
Sure.
Big reaction, you won't get that. But there's enough there to where you be like, who are these guys? And you can get to know them. Because the issue with them is that you got to know them in AEW, and then you didn't see them anymore. So they put a lot of investment in them in the beginning, and then they just went away. But
right. And I will say this about Karrion Kross and everything that he's doing. Like it's a lot of kind of reminds me a lot of, you know, when Zack Ryder was doing his internet stuff, right? And kind of a merger of the Zack Ryder making himself famous on the internet and also the CM Punk just speaking truth kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So he's doing that. But my fear with Kross is the only thing they're doing with him is having him be the bad angel on the shoulder.
Right.
Like
right.
That's it. Like, it's fun and entertaining, obviously, to see him be the character that, like, matches the hairstyle of the person that he's trying to influence, right? Like, that's fun. It's entertaining. But, like, beyond that, is that all? Where does that go? Where's the payoff for all of that?
Right. Agreed. I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Well, let's jump into the MPX.
Yes.
We got Lock and Horns coming up this weekend, and we have a guest who's popping in right now. I know he's trying to get in here. Somebody that he has the week off this week, but like we mentioned earlier, there really is no week off when you're the champion.
No.
So joining us now is the reigning, defending, undisputed MPX champion, the man with the plan, 2 steps ahead at all times, the shining truth, Mr. Demo Diamond.
How
you
doing,
yo.
sir? Oh my gosh.
Great. Hey, Matt. You were talking a little crazy, a little reckless last week. You know, like I wouldn't pull up. You were talking like I didn't beat you to defend my prospects.
We go.
You were talking like I didn't embarrass you in front of your fiance, your girlfriend, the mother of your child, and your child.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Demo. And with all the respect, all the respect in the world for you doing what you needed to do. And I think I said it on the show a little bit later that week. You do everything that I would have done as a champion, without a shadow of a doubt. So congratulations to you for that. Congratulations to you for defending everything that you have. There is no doubt that you take a lot of pride in defending whatever championship that you hold.
Exactly. See, I am the pride of MPX. You want to talk about somebody that's always screaming purple and black, it's me. I do any interview, anytime I talk about any MPX, any chance that I get, I carry the brand on my shoulders, not only because I'm the MPX champion, no, because I'm willing to do anything to make MPX better than when I started.
And that you have. That you have. There's
having
no
said
denying.
6 win all the gold, then it's having said 6 win all the gold.
Yeah, no, it's true. Whenever there's a massive poster of all MPX talent, Demo Diamond, you are at the center of it because you represent the brand better than anybody has in the time that I've been around MPX. That is for sure.
No lies there. No lies there.
Thank you.
Now, Demo, it's been a minute since you and I talked. I think the last time we talked, you had just won the MPX championship for the first time. Yep. What did you learn in that reign that prepared you for the second reign? Because from what I've seen, you grew leaps and bounds, but coming back for the second reign, it seemed like you had a plan and you were 10 steps ahead of everyone. So what did you learn in that first reign that you brought in the chase for the second reign, and now that you're successfully defending? We just seen you. This is probably my match of the year right now with Danny Orion from last week.
Why, thank you, by the way. I really appreciate that, because I've been working my ass off to show that I'm not only who I am, who I say I am, but I'm proving that I am who I say I am. But to answer your question, what prepared me for my second reign? Well, this would be my third reign. A lot of people forget that I lost it to Sky at Revolver.
It's true.
Oh, I didn't forget that. I knew that.
Sky's the only person that beat me in the Epic. I was completely undefeated.
It's true.
But what prepared me from my first reign and my second reign? Let's just combine those two. What prepared me was this. I knew mentally that to keep the title, I'm going to have to do everything in my power to retain. I'm going to have to do everything in my power to keep the brand on my shoulder. And that was having a plan with Set 6. You know, everybody was like, oh, this group is coming in and they're just destroying everything. Who are they going to be with? Well, Demo already knew. Demo was 10 steps ahead. Demo knew that he was going to have to find a group to help him retain. That I was going to have to find friends, and I say friends because we are a group of like-minded individuals who all need gold, who all want gold, and the only thing that we care about is gold and helping each other out. See,
so the question that I have for you, Demo, you say that it was you who put this group together, you who masterminded the forming of Set 6. So what then is Jamie Aller's role in all of this? As he's the one that tends to be the mouthpiece, he's the one that tends to say that he's the one that, Set 6 is complete now. Is that at your recommendation? Is that at your suggestion for him to say that stuff?
We also forget when I lost the title to Kari, what happened to Set 6, huh? I told Jamie to fix it.
Yeah.
I told Jamie to fix our issue, right? The Set 6 that Jamie put together was Brixton Shaw, was Rex Mori, was Andre Law, and was Man and TJ. See, Man and TJ stayed because they aren't the weakest links. No, we had three. And since we've changed the order, since we've changed everything, since we've added LVJ, since we've added Levi Lucas, since we've added Riza, we have more gold than we started with. So I think it's a collaborative effort between me and, I guess we can use a modern term, my wise man. That is Jamie Allen.
Okay. So, from an in-ring standpoint, and Kelvin, I don't mean to, keep stepping on the lines here.
No,
but,
go ahead.
You had that match with Danny, which again was a banger. Although my pick for your match of the year so far has been with Ozzy, but the match with Danny Orion, you lost Jamie early on in that match. Now, I never had a manager. But, well, that's a lie. I had a manager. But I would like to know what went through your mind as you were preparing for that match, as you had your game plan. The minute that you saw Jamie knocked flat on his ass by Danny Orion early on in that match, what goes through your head?
One second. Got fatherly duties. Give me a second.
No, take your time.
What went through my head when Jamie got knocked on his ass? Is that what you asked? Okay.
That is.
All right. Well, respectfully, let's just take a moment to respect Jamie for even coming back to the match. Let's take a moment to respect Jamie for even getting up from the kick that has knocked so many out by Danny Orion. Let's take that moment to, respect Jamie. But also, what went through my mind is this. I knew if Jamie wasn't there, the plan still remains the same. And that is set 6 on top. So I couldn't deviate from the plan. I knew that if Jamie was to go down, that I have to keep going. And me and Jamie have already done this. We've been through this multiple times. People like to take out Jamie. He has a very punchable face. Understandable. But what people fail to realize is me and Jamie come up with multiple plans. Not just one, not just two, not just three. Multiple. So hopefully that answers your question. We're ahead of the game when it comes to everything. We know everything that walks in and walks out of MPX.
Fair enough.
That is very interesting. Very interesting to hear you say that. But I'm looking at this card, and you have 3 men that are fighting for the right to face you at Locking Horns. Yep. One of them being Brick Savage. You and Brick with the prospect title. There was some issues there.
Issues? I wouldn't call it issues on my part. I mean, maybe Big Luther just had an issue with another monster being on the MPX roster. What does that have to do with Demo?
Smart. That is smart.
Well, we've seen Big Luther kind of come out in support of you and in your matches several times. And again, like Kelvin said, most notably against the World Breaker there. Is there, and I know set 6 is full, so to speak, but is there some sort of arrangement, some sort of deal, some sort of partnership with the big Louisianan?
Let's just say what it is. Set 6 is 6, right? It's me, it's Man, it's TJ, it's Riza, it's Levi, and we just added LVJ. So we have the Infinity Gauntlets. We're good. What Luther chooses to do is what Luther chooses to do. See, me and Luther, we're just homies. It's like you and everybody else you talk to. Just because I have a homie that's willing to step out doesn't mean he's associated with me in any way to help me do anything. He has his own motives. He's a grown man.
He's a very grown man. Do you know if he's going to be in the building this Saturday?
I mean,
he's not on the card, so
I don't know.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, he has no reason to be there, but doesn't mean he won't be there.
Well, I mean, look, they were supposed to have that last Beast standing match, and that never actually happened. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting something out there in the universe. That's all.
Hey, all I got to say is Luther thinks for himself.
Fair enough. Do you have a favorite in this triple threat match coming up? Who would you prefer to defend your MPX championship against?
Schaefer, I beat him. Brick Savage. On the win column, it says what? A W. Beat him. The only person that I haven't beaten this match is Big J. So, if they want to throw somebody at me, it better be Big J, because he's the only one that hasn't gotten to get an MPX title shot. I think the Addicts would want it. And I'm a player for the Addicts. I mean, if they want to see Big J get his ass whooped, that's absolutely fine by me. House Sagan won't touch my gold at all. And Brick Savage can go to the nearest yellow brick road and fuck up. So I'm not doing Brick Savage. Again, Brick has his own things. Brick, let Brick stay over there. You know?
Okay. Hey, I'm not gonna tell Brick where to go, where not to go. That's for darn
sure. Me neither. You can tell them whatever you want, but not me.
Yeah.
That ain't
my favorite is the underdog, and that's Big J.
Okay.
You just said something very interesting. And I've been kind of waiting for this linchpin because it feels like the tension is there. We just hadn't gotten to the bridge yet. And that's House Sagan. Being that Schaefer is in this match, if Schaefer is victorious, do you worry about House Sagan being involved in your potential title match between you and Schaefer?
Well, House Sagan has Caleb, Tatum, Dave, and Schaefer. Schaefer would be in the match, so that's 1, 2, 3. I have set 6. So that's 3 plus 3. And I would be the only one in the match. So they have 5 other people to worry about. So they could choose to try and step into the sun, and set 6 will remain on top.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Interested to see if there's any kind of gang warfare that ends up, not that I'm necessarily putting that on you or anything, Demo, but I think that's kind of grounds for something interesting, depending on the outcome this Saturday.
Listen. See, I think we're counting, okay, Schaefer, amazing. Schaefer can't get the job done. Every time he has an MPX championship match, what happens? He loses. Brick Savage, stay away from me. That's just it. Just stay away from me. And Big J, I feel like Big J is owed an opportunity. These addicts care about Big J, and I just want the addicts to get what they want. And then to see me diminish one of their heroes. Again, I am the guy that's came in the MPX, beat Tommy Becker. I've beaten Sky multiple times. I've beaten Jackson Stone. I've beaten Red Chambers. I've beaten Tatum Manning. I've beaten Dave Sagan. I've beaten Matt Andrews, Matthew Palmer. I've beaten who's who of MPX except Big J. I feel like that's a disservice to me.
You're right about that.
I like the take.
So I'm just saying.
I do like the take. But week off, you're going to be spending it studying, I presume. Or
I'm gonna watch the match. I'm going to see who wins this match. I might pull up. Maybe on my off day. Maybe I sit at home and I watch on Twitch. Or maybe I just come and watch in person.
You've got a couple other members of Set 6 in action that night. Of course, Levi Lucas will be in action that night as well. What do you make of this current incarnation, of Set 6? What prompted you to bring aboard Levi? What prompted you to bring aboard LVJ?
That's a great question. I was going to ask that.
Me and Levi have been really close. Me and Levi trained together. Me and Levi also had a match on MPX for the pre-show. The biggest pre-show, by the way. So I thought, man, Levi took me to my limit. Levi is also one of my brothers, so why not add him to set 6? Levi's very dangerous. Levi's a world champion somewhere else. Levi has tag goals somewhere else. Levi is a proven dog, so why not add him to set 6? LVJ, same thing. Me and LVJ have been close since he stepped into his training center. So LVJ coming back from injury, didn't know where to go, so we extended the hand. We told him, look, whatever happened before at MPX doesn't matter, because we're going to get you to your winning ways. We're going to show everybody at MPX why LVJ is the chosen one.
I like it. I really like it. And it seems like gold is the goal here.
Absolutely, all the gold. Prospect,
like
addicts, tag team. We have the MPX championship. We have the women's championship. So we got 3 more titles to get.
I think that there's an interesting one too. If we're going to keep talking about set 6, what's next for Riza? And I know Riza's not here and he can't necessarily speak for her, but it doesn't seem like there's really as much competition for her. So what happens? What does she do now? What does Riza Clark get to do while the rest of set 6 comes out and dominates?
Well, Riza gets to sit on top of her throne and do what she wants to do. Riza holds all the cards right now in the women's division. So where Riza chooses to go, when Riza chooses to fight, that's all on Riza.
It seems like it seems like she's following that pattern. Is that something you want for all of your guys to hold all the cards, control the deck? You guys control everybody's destiny.
I don't see why not. Everybody else used to do it. Everybody else has this mind game. Cavens holds all his cards as the prospect champion. We got Dave as a tag team and addicts champion. So I don't see why set 6 shouldn't do the same thing. The goal of wrestling is to hold everything that you can possibly have. Some people's goal is to go out there and have a great night. My goal is to prove that the shining truth that set 6 is the most dominant faction in MPX history.
It seems like you're well on your way. I'm not gonna lie.
True. Yep.
Not gonna lie to you. Some days I'm like, this all is all gonna crumble. But so far, you've proven me wrong at every turn. Every time I think your back is against the wall, somehow, some way, you've thought of a way to prove everybody wrong. And that is to be commended, because let's face it, you having the prospect title, going into Destiny, winning the Rumble, no one expected that.
Exactly. See, a lot of people like to add the asterisk to the Rumble, but the rules clearly state if the referees don't call me out, then I'm not out. So I was still in the Rumble. I won fair and square. It's called using my brain. Not my fault that Exodus took his eyes off the ball.
Yeah, interesting there.
And then on the flip side of that, you have him fight his friend. That's wild.
Hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I am officially done with Kari. So what Exodus and Kari chooses to do is up to them. I've gotten my match. Exodus and Kari were the reason that I was in wrestling. They are the reason that I found out Texas had an indie scene. And now I'm done. What they do, let them be prime flight. Let them fight each other. That's fine. I'm just proving that I'm the best MPX champion there is. I'm in a short list of 3-time MPX champions for a reason.
True story. Yeah, back at the Rumble, Kelvin and I think we did it again at Destiny. We called 2025 the year of demo, even though 2024 was also the year of demo. So my question, the last question I really have for you, it's the last serious question I have for you, is where does demo go from here? Outside of MPX, outside of going up and down the roads, what's the goal for this year for demo?
It's a great question.
Do what I did last year, but on a bigger scale. I want to be able to hit a revolver show that's not just in Texas. I want to be able to be on extra work and be known for being me. I just want to be demo everywhere. And I'm proving that. I'm in Austin. I'm in Louisiana. I'm in the Rio Grande Valley. I am everywhere that I choose to be. And right now, as MPX champion, I'm elevating MPX by asking for different challengers. We've seen me versus Red. We've seen me versus Tatum. So me versus Danny O'Ryan was the very first time. Me versus Ozzy was the very first time.
Yeah, agreed. And I was telling Matt earlier, like I was in Vegas, and there was a lot of Texas talent that traveled to Vegas. Is that something you're looking to do with some of these big shows? I know there's SummerSlam coming to Jersey. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing, traveling and getting your name out that way?
Absolutely. And you know, Mania being in Louisiana is a W for me because I'm out there in Louisiana. I'm working in Louisiana, and that means, hey, some people aren't going to run in Louisiana. Some people might run in Texas. So that's a quick 5-hour drop for me. That's a quick drive and back. That's that's anything. I'm also willing to go to these bigger shows, and get my name out there and talk and network, because I mean that's how you get ahead in this business. How you get anything that you want in this business is to network and talk, and obviously to go viral here and there. And I'm going viral from punching people in the face. So
I will say that as much pride as you take in your work and defending the MPX championship and representing the brand, I would be sorely disappointed if any bigger company didn't take a chance on you at some point this year to display you on a much higher stage. I feel like that's someplace that you need to go.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it happens to you, if anything else, just so I might be able to say that guy beat me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna put the work in. We're gonna put boots to the ground. We're gonna see what happens.
I love it, man. I love it, and I echo that because I've been watching you since I've been podcasting. So, as much as this show has grown, like I've seen the leaps and bounds that Demo has done since I first laid eyes on his in-ring work. I've seen the progress, and it just makes me happy seeing the growth, man. Really, it really does. So, as much as the dastardly shit you do,
it wouldn't be me without it.
As much as you do, it's an honor to watch you do it, man. Really, it really is.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's crazy because I've been getting that a lot lately. Like a lot of people have been telling me about my growth. I really appreciate it because there's times, it's hard. Sometimes you think you think you're moving forward and you're like, oh, man, I'm not. So to hear people and to get promoters, that brought me in just for, battle royals or rumbles, and for me to stand out to them and be like, oh, well, we want to keep doing stuff with you. We see a lot of stuff in you. For that to go on, I'm really appreciative of that because I have changed my body tremendously in the last 4 months because let's just face it, I was this big, and I was walking around at 250, very skinny. Now I'm 265, and I have way more muscle than I used to have. And that wouldn't be possible without Palmer yelling at me and training at MPX, or Athena yelling at me as well. So
let's make sure you get a chest.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first thing I hear every day. So that's just in my mind when I go to the gym and everything. But also, like, it's just the people around me, like, I have a bunch of people around me that's pushing for me, and being a father of a little girl is making it even more intense for me to really try and push for this.
Oh, good.
Absolutely, man. Well, I hear the baby, so
yeah,
we're gonna let you go. Get back to your fatherly duties. We took enough of your time, man. Thank you so much for giving us your time, jumping in. I know you'll be watching this weekend, so
absolutely.
I got one.
If Big J don't win, then Big J, you suck. And I'm saying this personally. And if you don't think you suck, then you better win and you better face me, so you can prove to people that you don't suck.
Fair enough.
That's all.
Fair enough.
I got one last question.
Go ahead.
What's the next hair color going to be?
That's a secret. It's based on my next gear. So
gotcha.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
All right.
All right, man.
Bye.
See you later.
Great time.
Yeah, good insights there from the MPX champion. Again, somebody to be proud of representing your company, whether it's MPX or whether he's going around and representing other places. It's that's a good person to have on your roster.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it really is a joy to watch him work, man. It really is. But the fact that he's pushing for Big J, it lets me know there's a plan in place.
Oh man, yeah. Always a plan.
There's always a plan.
Champion. That's true.
And maybe the plan ain't for Big J to win.
But maybe that's a distraction, right?
Yeah, maybe. But the fact that he pushed for it, I was like, ooh, thumbs up. He wants
for a little too hard.
But yeah, always a pleasure talking with him. But he broke down who he wanted to win. Let's break down the rest of this card, man. It's a great card coming up for Lock and Horns. What match you want to go over?
I got to talk about the guy that I think is going to start taking MPX by storm. I got to talk about Devin Anello.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. And we're going right to the set 6 match, right, with Levi Lucas. I got to say, Devin has so much to look forward to. He keeps coming up with new ways to get over on his opponents. He keeps coming up with ways to energize and incite the crowd. And I think the sky is not just the limit, it's like the beginning of where he can go. The guy's got a lot of potential, and to hear his story and see where he's going, this is going to be his biggest test. That's for sure.
Yeah,
so,
most
and
definitely.
A proven person such as Levi Lucas, this is going to be one of the bigger tests for Anello.
Most definitely. Now, I will say, watching him, I was very pleasantly surprised. He's a big guy, but he moves really well. He's really fast. That caught me off guard.
He's real graceful too. Like it looks like it makes it. It looks like there's no effort.
Right.
Right. He goes up top for that moonsault, and he doesn't look like he puts any effort into the jump. Right. He just looks like he levitates up there, and that's that's amazing to me.
It's very impressive. But yeah, this is a big test. Also, this is kind of a test for Levi as well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Coming off of last week, like he needs a win.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he definitely needs a win, and set 6 needs to continue the momentum, especially if Demo is not going to be there. They've got to have a good representation and a good presence there on the show if they're going to keep momentum going.
Right. Let's keep it in set 6. We got LVJ, the newest member, going up against Mikey B.
Yeah, interesting match there. This is kind of the first big road test for LVJ as a member of Set 6, right? Going against a former Addicts champion and a former number 1 contender for the MPX championship, right? But I think this is also a good place for Mikey to be proving himself too, right? After not coming out ahead against Demo for that MPX Championship, he had that match against Leon King. And what does the future hold for Mikey?
Right.
Right. I
Right.
think that's something that he's got to explore. Right. He's still in and on his solo tour, so to speak. But he just seems to have lost his way, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Most
I mean,
definitely.
I think the addicts still appreciate him, still like him and stuff, but I think they need to see him in a direction. He didn't come out on top against the addicts champion, didn't come out on top against the MPX champion. So I mean, there's got to be a place for Mikey to go, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. He's at a crossroads right now. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can pull one out. But this is a stiff test for him too.
Sure. And speaking of crossroads, is we got to talk about a group that's we've mentioned as being at a crossroads several times. The Scorn, actually back in action, in meaningful action here against I believe Adam Green, right? Is that?
No. It's that's House Sagan.
Yes, House Sagan going against
Yeah.
right, Adam, and God, who's Adam
Kaimi.
shooting with? Oh, and Kaimi, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge match too. We can get
Yeah,
that,
it
but
is.
The Scorn has a lot on their plate, especially with the return of the magnificent Malico last week.
That was a surprise.
That was a huge surprise, and I'm glad that it got the reaction that it needed to from the addicts. It was carried out and executed quite well, and much to the chagrin of Tommy Prince. But this is a story, I guarantee you, that is just beginning between Prince, between the Scorn, and Malico.
Yep. Love it, man. Love it. Then we got a hardcore match.
Yes, we need to see the old Sky de la Cremosa, who has been a little bit off his game, absent from the scene lately, maybe distracted. And so we've got somebody in Langley who wants to see his old mentor go back to his roots, kind of become the actual Texas Chainsaw again. And going up against one of the hottest up and comers in the hardcore and the deathmatch scene, and Rex Mori.
Yep.
That's a pretty good way to go about it.
Very much. I like this match, and I like that this match is going to push Sky.
Yes.
It's going to push him in one direction, and that's the direction that he needs to be in.
Sure. I just, knowing Sky, and he's had a volatile personality in the past. I just hope it doesn't push him too far. Sky's good people. He's got a crazy side there, and I'd like to see a little of that unlocked. But I just hope he doesn't lose track of who he is.
That's tough, because when you go, it's like Sky, he likes to burn the candle at both ends. But without that, who is Sky? So it's kind of like he has to get to this path. But again, it's a dangerous path for him.
Sure.
So, but that's the only way he knows. It's gotta be danger. So
maybe that's a thing that Langley has to be careful of what he asks for.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know. This could be a Kane X-Pac unmasking moment.
Okay, I like the parallels there.
It could be one of those moments, man, to where you push him and you push him and you push him, and then when you get him there's no stopping them. Not even for a friend or a mentee. So,
right. Speaking of mentors, mentorees, and friends, and all of that, Kaimi, as we mentioned, will be teaming with Adam Green to go up against House Sagan, and that. Oh boy, I'm excited to see that match, because again, talking about stories that are just beginning. This whole drama, this whole whodunit, and the fact that Kaimi knew that it was Caleb Riley all along, that's going to be a volatile match.
And it's because Kaimi was right, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he got punished for being right. So
yeah.
him coming back with the vengeance. Listen, man, I married an Islander. You don't piss those people off. So,
That's fair. Yeah, no, absolutely.
You don't piss them off. That anger is something you don't want to deal with. So we've seen that from him lately, to where a pissed off Kaimi is a very dangerous person. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's where he is for the sake of him winning a match. But dude, it's hard to control. It's hard to control him when he's angry, man.
Well,
it really is. So.
And we talk about people that have to control their emotions. Who do you think right now hates Dave Sagan more?
Oh,
is it Tatum Manning or is it Brada Kaimi?
Right.
Who knows?
Who knows? But we will find out. And then, of course, we got the main event, Triple Threat. We talked about it. Demo's going to be watching it. Brick, Michael Schaefer, Big J. That is all meat, an all meat match. Right. So bodies will be flying, crashing, but it's gonna be a fun train wreck.
Oh, absolutely. And, with Schaefer and Brick having that history, Schaefer taking that last beast standing match, and the war that those two went to at Destiny. And then you throw somebody like Big J, who's hungry. Big J is consistently hungry. And especially since Sons of Mayhem lost the MPX Tag Team Championship. This is a great spot for Jay to redeem himself.
Yep. And regardless of what Demo wants, Big J being an underdog kind of in this match, I like his chances, because these other two guys with the last beast standing match, there may still be some animosity there that Big J can actually capitalize on. I like his chances in this match. And who knows, we could be actually looking at
a Big J and Demo Diamond match for the MPX Championship.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What happened to your camera?
Oh, what the heck? That's weird, because I don't even know what direction this is supposed to go in. That's wild.
I know. I was like, oh, that's weird.
It's very weird. Okay, we're gonna try that. Holy crap. I didn't even do anything. I didn't even touch it.
I know. It just turned. I was like, what was that?
Very timey-wimey.
Hey, it's all good, man. So, but yeah, that's the card, man. Great matches on this card. Following up a great card. Again, consistency. MPX has been really consistent with these cards, telling the stories. This card is gonna produce fireworks. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah, things are in good hands right now, and we're excited to bring the action every single week. Right, the best weekly wrestling show in Texas by far. So we're excited, addicts. I'm hoping to see you guys this Saturday. This will be great. MPXWrestling.com for your tickets. Make sure to add on the early access match, and make sure that you come out to all the shows here. Right, and thank you to the No Gimmicks podcast, of course, for sponsoring. We're happy to have Sauced back again as a sponsor for the rest of May, and then our new sponsor, Wasted Youth. They're a thrift store upcycling of kind of vintage T-shirts and such. And this month they're doing a specialty on wrestling T-shirts, and that's why they're choosing to sponsor MPX this month.
Wait, what's the name of that? Wasted Youth.
Wasted Youth.
I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, Wasted Youth Incorporated. They'll be out here on Saturday with some of their vintage shirts, and then also taking a few stylized shots ringside as well. So we're excited to have them out.
All right, I'm gonna check them out, and that sounds like a good time there.
For sure.
You said wrestling T-shirts, that got my interest. So
yeah, there you go.
That's worth checking out. All right, so
definitely
shout out to them. But yeah, man, 510 Harwood Road, Bedford, Texas. You know the address. Get there if you can't. If you're too far away, there's always Twitch. Follow Metroplex Wrestling on Twitch. You get it live. Subscribe. Help them support the brand, and we will see you Saturday.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Anything else?
Nope, that should be it.
All right, man. So thank you guys for tuning in again tonight. Come back next week. Enjoy the shows this weekend. Until then, take care of each other. Have fun. Peace.
Peace.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks, gimmicks.